Okay, so if you don't already have Java installed, I would install that. I have a couple links in the GitHub for that on the demo branch, depending on whether you're Mac or Windows. So I would install that while I'm doing this because it takes a bit. Uh,
You present your screen. What?
yeah, is it says I'm sharing. Should I continue?
Yes, continue.
Okay. So first, like a couple things on what Spring actually is. Uh, Kind of think of like Node.js and React, like how you build applications with them. Use MongoDB, and you have all of these other different like frameworks that help you build stuff with different languages. Java Spring is basically like the all-purpose thing for that. You can use it for like applications, um, like back-end, front-end, databases, all of that. There's also some like newer stuff on machine learning. Their website has a bunch of information about the different things you can do. But for this, I think the only thing that we need is Java Spring Boot, which is kind of the back end development, like your version, Java's version of Node, you could call it. So it's mainly for backend stuff, although people do use it for some other things like databases and all of that. But mainly it's used by these a lot of big companies. I think Netflix's entire backend is built with Java Spring. So it's mainly for these huge cloud-based backend services where you have like millions of users, possibly millions of users at a time, and you just need to send a lot of things, a lot of data through. Node.js is more likely to be faster, but if you have a lot of people using Node.js, the system might crash. It can't handle the same level of load as Spring does. So again, like all the big companies use it, um, all of Fang, but I wanted to throw in a non-Fang company, so I threw in Alibaba. Uh, I don't think many of us are gonna go for Alibaba internships, but if you do want to get a Fang internship, there is likely going to be some sort of role that focuses on Java, and most people know Mern, or most people going for software know Mern. So if you know something that's more, Java's like still used plentifully. It's just that people don't learn it as much, and I don't think it's in any introductory CS class until like PLC, I think. Java, yeah. So you don't even use the language. So I would say, as far as a language goes, it's pretty useful. Just very syntax heavy. You can think of it as C++, but a lot of things are taken care of for you. Which, like you don't need to use think about pointers and new and all of that. But like think of the main method in C++ is int main, and in Python is just as long pretty much. In Java, it's public static void main, and then in parentheses string close brackets args or something like that, right? It's just this massive syntactical like mess. That's why a lot of people don't like Java, and it's a relatively um unliked language to be fair, but it's very ubiquitous. So for Spring, the main features are inversion of control, which is basically allowing you to have these different components think like in React when you have all these components that um like you layer components on top of each other and then build this beautiful looking front end. It's the same thing except for back end. So you have like in this we're going to have something called a message controller, which takes in that reads in Java Discord messages and then outputs that somewhere else. That's a component in itself. And then if you're building something a lot more complex than what we're going to do, you would probably need to use inversion of control. Dependency injection is basically helping out with inversion of control. It's the pattern design of inversion of control. Honestly, even I don't exactly understand what's going on with these two terms here. I would just try to think of it as things that help you organize your different classes, especially because Java becomes very messy. The only benefit of Java is that uh, it's it's not readable. It's not clean either. It's organizationally cool. I'll just go with that. And systems use it, and they've been using it for so many years that it's hard to shift off of it. So, yeah, you can get some internships, uh, if you learn Spring or Java in general. And there's tons of functionality. So it's not just Spring Boot. There's MVC, which is something version control, Maven version control. I think it helps you sort out all your different imports, because in Java, another annoying thing is when you import something that that has like some sort of entanglement with another import, it messes things up. So Spring MVC can help you out with that. And Spring Data is basically their version of Mongo. Um, they have their own database management system. Okay, introduction to Discord, or Discord bots, basically. It's not going to be the main focus of the workshop, but it uses Java Discord API. Just know that the only real component thing that you need to know about this is that there's something called an event listener, and every single time something happens, like a user sends out a message, it's going to listen to that message and then do something, and then that something is, in this case, is going to be using OK HTTP client, which is Java's version of Axios, and then that's going to post it to whatever backend that we're going to make, and then the server does the rest of the work. And then the React UI, honestly, we can just skip this slide because it's like completely provided for you. Just all you need to do is npm install at the beginning to make sure that you get everything. I was gonna make this a very basic UI, like plain up HTML, but it kind of looked really bad and unpresentable, so I made it look slightly better, just so it looks like something I can show. So any questions before we begin the demo? No? Okay. So I'm going to make a new directory for this. This is assuming that you already have Java downloaded, and also you need Node because we're using a little bit of React, although it's not the most important part of this. So if you don't have Node, by now, I guess you could try to get it because it's useful for the future anyway. Okay, so. Oh yeah. Make sure to clone the demo branch. I'm gonna make a new folder for this called like workshop Spring. And then I'm going to git clone this, but I'm gonna git clone a branch. If you don't know how to do that, that's git -b for branch, and then the name of the branch, which is demo, and then the link for the GitHub. So this is gonna. What did I do?
Git branch.
Oh yeah, I did not type the code. Okay. Git clone -b demo, and then the link, and then that should work. So that's done. I'm gonna open this up in VS Code. So just looking at this, so far all you have is this React UI. There's nothing in Java at first. So make sure first to get the Java extension over here, which is the first thing that comes up when you do Java, or maybe actually the second. It's this. It is the first one actually. Extension pack for Java, and it's by Microsoft. So make sure to get that, because what we're gonna do is now close this file or this folder. And then I'm going to click on this folder button, and then there's something called Create Java Project. If you have IntelliJ, like any IDE for Java. Like I have NetBeans, which is like IntelliJ but worse. This is a lot easier, but since like VS Code is the more like traditional code editor, I'm just gonna stick to this. So you click create Java project, and over here you click Maven. You don't really need to worry about the difference between all of these. Maven just has something called a POM XML, which is think of like package.json when you're doing like a JavaScript project, and then you just do npm install, and then that gives you all your dependencies. And then once you have this, you want to get an archetype, which is kind of like a template that you're gonna have. So if you type in Spring, you get Spring Boot blank archetype. I'm gonna select that and the latest version. And yeah, I'll do keep com dot example, and then I think I called this Discord API. So I'm gonna keep that same name over here. And then select a destination folder for this. I'll store that in my workshop folder. Or wait, no, I was supposed to store it inside the GitHub folder. Okay, I'm gonna make a new one now. Sorry about that. Okay, so this should go inside Java Spring Workshop, the clone GitHub folder. And then this asks you for a couple inputs. You can just click enter 2 times because I don't think they really matter. And just because Java is incredibly nasty, I'm not gonna try to type through everything line by line. I'm gonna copy paste the file and then go through each file because we're gonna be sitting here for a while with me like doing random typos on stupid Java syntax. Because it's not as intuitive as Python. It's not as contrived as C++, but it's longer than both, and it just gets annoying. Um, so opening that folder up, if I go over here, now I have this Discord dash API, and this is basically your template file for Spring. So pom.xml is basically package.json. If you look at each one of these dependencies, that's basically like an import, like something that, yeah, basically an import. It's just, it's like a group of imports, more like, more technically. So now if you look at a couple of these, we have app.java. We can't exactly run this, and I'll show you why in just a sec. App.java is your template spring.application.run like in app.js and node or npm. And then if you run this class, this is going to start your server. And you also have this hello controller, which is a hello world basically starter. But we're going to get rid of this file because we're not doing hello world. And we can also get rid of this file because this is for if you want to attach a database. So jdbc.sql is kind of like a connection to a SQL database. But we don't need that for this because it's relatively introductory. I'm going to make 2 files here. One is going to be called message controller, and the other one is Discord bot. So again, I'm just gonna copy paste the actual version of these files because it's gonna take a while. So now if you look at this, there's a bunch of errors like cross origin, post mapping, and all of that. That's because we don't have the necessary dependencies. So the solution to that is to just take this POM XML file with all the necessary dependencies and then replace it with this one. And you need to run Java's version of npm install. So if you go to Discord API, and then yeah.
For some people who don't know, like already know, like tech stack, maybe don't use.
All right, yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, I thought so npm install is basically like a refresh on this POM XML file. Or rather not npm install, Java's version of that, which is mvn clean install, which basically just cycles through this file and installs all the necessary dependencies that you need. Oh, and one last thing I forgot. Make sure to delete hello controller.test because hello controller doesn't even exist anymore. Okay, now that just first to check, does everybody know what's going on so far? Any questions? Want me to redo anything? Okay. So now that that's done, I'm just gonna quickly go through each of these files, and I'll spend more time on message controller because the Discord bot stuff itself isn't as important. But first I have this API string, which is just the endpoint, or the link basically where I'm going to be sending the messages that are entered in Discord. Then you have the bot token, and I'm gonna need a new bot token over here because the old one expired. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then this over here, don't worry about the syntax. It's just saying that creating this bot using this class called JDA builder. So you do a JDA builder with a bunch of these different like toggles, right? Like guild messages and message content are two of them. And then those basically allow you to read messages. And I'm going to add the event listener, which is Discord bot, and then finally build this. So the messenger, the event listener that's called Discord bot is this on message receive thing. So what this is doing is in the source code for JDA, which is this massive file for Java Discord, there's some file, some function called on message received, and basically what that does is the default for what on message received does. Basically, it does nothing, right? So we're going to override that function and make a new version ourselves. And what that does is first checks is the author of that message a bot, because you don't want the bot to react to itself and then create some sort of infinite loop. If it is, then you return. Otherwise, you get the content of the message and the username of the message, and then this debugging statement just to make sure that that's going, and then you send it to the API. And the API does this OK HTTP client thing, which sends that into the internet, basically, right? So it sends it into this URL over here, which is the link for the API that we're about to build, and it prints out sent to API. So what this does is it creates this. Sometimes you might use a JSON to contain all of these together. But in Java, you use something called a request body, which is something you build up together. You add the username, you add the content of the message, and then you send that. You send that response. You send that, and then you get a response. So this is the Discord bot. I'm going to run this just to show you what it does. Oh yeah, because the token needs to be replaced. Okay, so now just to quickly replace the token, I'm going to go to this website, you just Google Discord applications and you get a Discord developer portal. And then I have this application called SC SecBot. Now that you have SecBot, there is a OAuth 2 tab. Once you're here, you want to get the secret. So you reset the secret because it's gone, and then you can copy this. Actually, no, scratch that. It's not the secret, it's the token. That's my bad. So you get the token from this website over here, and then you reset the token, and then get this token. Because that secret looked kind of sus. It was only like 10 characters, so it would be weird if they only allowed so many bots to exist. Now if I run this should work, hopefully. Okay, login successful. And then now if I go to this Discord server where a couple of you guys joined, and then you see Chonkbot over here, let's say, hi Chonkbot. And that's because, huh? No, Chunkbot is fine. Don't worry, guys. The issue is that I haven't started up the server yet, so that's gonna obviously happen. Because there's nothing at 8080 yet. All I just wanted to check was to make sure that this over here, is printed out. So Chunkbot did hear my hello. Chunkbot is my friend. Now looking into message controller. Yeah.
So just to clarify that file was basically like launching the bot from top of the secret messages, and when it finds one, it will send it to the server that you're launching the message.
Yeah. So what this bot is basically doing is it's a Discord bot that takes the message and then sends that message to the server. So all that's being done so far is creating an event listener on Discord that reads this bot. In fact, if somebody wants to type in a message now, we can just see it being printed out that somebody sent a message. Max, do you want to send a message? I think it's gonna break. Just kill Chunkbot. Yeah, I wonder what it does. Oh, okay, so it does. It just sends the link for the tenor file, right? Okay, so it didn't die. That's good. So now next we're gonna look through message controller, which is the actual Java Spring code. And what this does is it sets up an endpoint at this link over here. HTTP localhost 3000. Or sorry, no, it sets up a link at 8080, right? This link over here, you don't need to worry about that, but there's something called CORS, which causes some issues when you try to go from one localhost, one port to another. In this case, 3000 is a link to our React UI. So we're just giving permissions to this React UI before it, so they can communicate together. The real endpoint that we're talking to is this messages tab over here. So once I start this up, there's going to be something at the link, localhost 8080/messages. And it doesn't exist right now. It's going to say like this site can't be reached because it doesn't exist yet. But once I do start it up, there's going to be some endpoint over there. And then that endpoint is going to be controlled by this message controller. All this message controller is going to be doing is taking in all these messages that are entered by people in this over here. So there's something called a post request, which is sort of posting it onto the server, right? Like take a post-it note and then put it on the wall. That's all this is doing. It takes in this this call over here from the API. So when it sends over to the API, that sending gets caught by this over here, and then that sends the message and gets stored by this message store hash map. And again, don't get too caught up in the syntax over here, but a hash map is a dictionary in Python. Concurrent hash map just make sure that when two things are entered at the same time, it doesn't cause some sort of violation. So yeah, that's what a concurrent hash map is. And now we're going to be storing it inside the hash map, and then just some debugging print statements to make sure that everything went okay. And then finally, we have this over here, which splits it up. This whole chunk of code can be split into two different for loops. Those two different for loops basically split up the this hash map. This hash map currently contains a bunch of words and a bunch of users, right? You want to split up that hash map into words that are created by a user. So what this does is it uses something called stream, which doesn't exist in other languages, but it splits up a hash map into two different streams. One stream for the different words that are being created. So it uses message.split to split a sentence into a bunch of words, which means my hello chonkbot would be split into hello and chonkbot. So you get hello and chonkbot. Both of those words were sent by me. So that all gets logged into message store. So that's all what message controller does. If I run app.java, now we should see things start to click once this finishes running. Yeah. So now if I say hello chonkbot again, it logs it inside the server, which is good. And this is the hash map printed out. So it says bean4004, which is my username, sent the words hello and also sent the word chonkbot. If I send something else, like blah, blah. Now it says that I sent blah, blah. And if somebody else sent something else, it's going to say their username and then whatever they sent. Now, finally, the last part that we need is the React UI, which again, I'm not going to go like look into because we don't need to really worry about React. I'm just going to go into this file over here, and then I'm going to run npm install. And that's going to take a couple seconds. Maybe it's because my computer sucks. Oop. npm start. And then that's going to launch a cool looking new UI on localhost 3000. And wow, it looks amazing, right? So now if we type in hi, or chonkbot, I said chonkbot once, so it's going to say bean4004 send the word chonkbot once. If I say chonkbot, chonkbot. And I search for this again, it's going to say 3 because I sent chonkbot 3 times. So if you guys want to, like Max is about to type something, I see another person online. If I run this again, Max also sent chonkbot 1 time. So a lot of people are sending chonkbot. You could do this for as many words, different words as you can. The only issue is that because this is not being stored in a database, basically the entire load of this application is stuck on this one concurrent hash map, which has a pretty large capacity. But if like I tried like load testing this just to see how much it could do, and I think it dies after like 100 messages. So, yeah, if you want to play around with this, don't push it too far because I'm not sure what happens to the bot itself. I think the server just crashes and the bot should be fine, but yes, I was forced into Java. We almost had another message there. Okay. Yeah. Can people just message them just to see if this works? I made like 2 new accounts just to make sure that this works, but I've never tried it with what 7 people. I love Chonkbot. Whoa. You got added to the Chonkbot list. Congratulations. That's sus. Oh yeah, and if you do it says Max and I because it doesn't care about case. Except when it does. Chonkbot is not case sensitive. Chonkbot is indeed not. Oh no, Chonkbot is case sensitive sometimes. For some reason, not with the letter I. Chonkbot on Java, yeah. You know the lore behind Chonkbot was let's not get into that. Robert knows the lore behind Chonkbot. There's a lot of lore behind Chonkbot, yes. But honestly, yeah, that's basically this entire workshop is these 3 files, and then the entirety of the React front end, which we don't need to really worry about. But any questions on the Java portion of this workshop? No? Yes.
The website that you bring, that's like with the React front end.
Yeah. So that's all
Like
React.
sending a request to some backend, like one of the files here is serving that.
Yeah. So just to quickly go over that there is this Axios GET request over here to get all the to get the data stored inside that hash map.
Yeah. And then and then there's a backend like serve that.
Yeah, the backend is this over here.
Okay.
This line. So yeah, just to quickly go over that, this is the request mapping, which means that sort of like it's a GET request, it handles GET requests, and then this is for the post request, which is weird because it's called GET mapping. I don't know why they decided to do that, but /word is the Discord bot pushing the different words, the different messages. Or am I mixing that up? Does that make sense? I think that should make sense, right? No? Okay.
I think it's not get.
GET mapping is a GET.
Yeah.
Oh, and post mapping is a post.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I was looking at request mapping. Request mapping is the path, yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think this line even does anything because
Because the post is this last message, isn't it?
oh,
And then the get is slash the message is /word.
I see. Honestly, if I'm I learned Java Spring about 4 days ago, so I looked at a bunch of tutorials and then figured this out, and hopefully it wasn't that bad. So any other questions? Yes.
When you do the /word on the front end, is that calling like the record? Or
On the front end?
during a certain?
I think the word is like a replace something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the front end just like asks for the word, it just provides the word.
Yeah.
And that like looks in the dictionary for that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all instances, it's like that.
And then the other Java file that the Discord bot, that's like a separate.
This one?
That's like running bot.
Yeah, this is just for the bot and nothing else.
Oh, but it's still a backend for the bot. Which one is the right? That's like, we're seeing.
Okay, this is technically creating a REST API, right? You kind of have like a sandwich where you have two backends. The Discord bot.java connects to the front end of the Discord, like Discord UI, and then this connects to message controller and Spring, and then message controller links that with the React UI. Anyone else? No? Okay.
And so you were running them separately, or it's all one process?
I'm running them in 3 different terminals.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna kill Chunkbot now. How is Chunkbot still active?
He's wrong.
Imagine Chunkbot takes over the world. Okay. I think that's it.
You haven't already, just sign in. I think that's the last workshop of the year, right? Yes. We have a study social with Gator User Design, AI Club, and then CSU. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow from 4 to 6. You know where it is? I think all of it's posted on our Discord, and then after that on Saturday, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Wrights Bowling Alley, we have free bowling, free pool, I think ping pong, foosball. It was super fun last year, huge turnout. So definitely show up to that if you're on campus, if you want to stop by. Also a last chance to pick up any t-shirts if you didn't get one at the GBM. And free pizza, a lot of free pizza. That's like our last thing that we're spending our budget on. Yeah, besides that, goodbye. Thank you for coming.